Alright guys, with Will Russell here, today I'm going to be reviewing Survivor Series 2017, a show that had a lot to live up to with the extra impressive NXT TakeOver War Games the night before. Would it live up to it? Of course it fucking wouldn't. It's a main roster show, and to be honest, Survivor Series last year was like really great. Like I remember the 5-on-5 being great, and obviously the Goldberg Brock match was like this big deal, and there was some other good matches on the show. Like that 10-on-10 was actually really good. This year, Survivor Series. The card obviously looked a lot worse a couple of weeks ago with like Jinder being in the main event, and you had like Alexa and Natalya, which doesn't sound that great. And I mean, Charlotte does sound a little bit better with Alexa. But yeah, like the card didn't look amazing. There's a couple matches that should have been great, which were, and I'm going to get straight into them. I didn't watch any of the pre-show. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm swearing because I'm angry, and you're going to see why I'm angry as the show goes on. But I didn't see any of the pre-show matches. I know that Matt Hardy lost to Elias Sampson via the driftaway. I know that Enzo beat Kalisto to retain the Cruiserweight title with the Giordano. And then I believe Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens beat Breezango. Apparently these were all average, or less than average, so... Blah. The show kicked off with actually a really good match, and the match was the best on the show for a long time, as the New Day took on the Shield. This was just great, and I liked how, even though the New Day have been a unit for so much longer, really, like, because they've been a unit for 3 years now, they didn't, it did work, because in reality, when you think about the destruction and the carnage that the Shield did in their time, they would really wipe the floor with the New Day. So I liked how it was even, because the New Day had more time together, whereas the Shield have just recuperated. There's some great stuff. Rollins hit the rain trigger, that ripcord knee strike, and then Ambrose did a dirty deed on Kofi, and that got a near fall. That was broken up by, I think, Woods. And then the New Day really took control. They did this really cool spot where Woods put Big E on his shoulders and Kofi went to top. Kofi leapfrogged Big E, and then Woods basically face forward, face first, Alabama slammed Big E onto Ambrose. Ambrose kicked out, though. They did a double Midnight Hour where Big E got both Ambrose and Seth up, and both members of the New Day did the Midnight Hour. I thought that was really cool. But eventually, the Shield did take control. Rollins hit the ripcord knee on one side. Dirty deeds from Ambrose on the other side. They both got in the ring. Reigns speared Kofi. They hit a triple powerbomb off the middle rope. 1, 2, 3. The Shield beat the New Day. Raw go 1-up. This was a really good opener. Really fast paced. It went 21 minutes. And I don't think it dragged, so I'm going to give these guys 3 3/4 stars. One of the best matches on the show. Kudos to these 6 men. They had a really good match. Then we had, I believe, the SmackDown Women's and Raw Women's matchup, the 5-on-5 elimination matchup, which was the team of Natalya, Carmella. Natalya was the surprise, and there was like nothing to it. There was absolutely nothing to it, and it did annoy me because like she just came out just as another member of the brand. Natalya, Carmella, Tamina, Naomi, and Becky Lynch, the captain, took on Team Raw, which was Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Asuka, and Bayley. Now, Becky Lynch looks like an absolute goof. She got beaten 2 minutes with a cradle. And then Bayley looks like a goof. She was next eliminated. She was beaten by a super kick and a superfly splash from Tamina. Now, they look like goofs, and that was really rubbish. But after that, the eliminations started to come a little bit quicker. Nia Jax was next eliminated. She was counted out as we had the first time ever Tamina-Nia Jax standoff, which was better than it should have been, actually. That was probably my favourite part of the whole match outside of the finish. Sorry, a little bit flustered. Sorry. So Nia Jax was eliminated by countout. Then we had Naomi eliminate Alicia Fox in one of the sloppiest segments I've seen all year. It was disgusting. Naomi and Alicia Fox. Now, Naomi's really well, not really. She's quite talented and she's quite athletic. But this part with Alicia Fox, these like this minute or like this 10 seconds was horrendous. And then eventually they even botched the finish. Naomi went for a cradle or a jackknife cover. Alicia Fox forgot to kick out, and then the ref counted to 3, and then Naomi locked in a submission anyway. The referee just got Alicia Fox out. Sloppy as bollocks. Sasha Banks then got in and locked in the bank statement on Naomi, so she was out. Then Asuka eliminated Carmella with a head kick, so it was 2-on-2. Sasha and Asuka against Tamina and Natalya. A weird last two for SmackDown, whatever. I really felt like Becky Lynch should have been in there longer, because when I looked at the SmackDown team, she was the biggest threat, and she just got killed in 2 minutes. Not even killed, she just got made look like a goof. Jesus. And then, oh my god, what actually happened? Natalya made Sasha Banks tap out to the sharpshooter, and then it was Asuka against two members of SmackDown in Tamina and Natalya. She eliminated Tamina with a really awesome, like, leaping armbar. Then Natalya and Asuka had this really, really good minute of wrestling. Natalya went for the Nat by Nature. She got caught with, I believe, a big head kick from Asuka. Asuka locked in the Asuka lock. And Natalya tapped out, so Asuka is the sole survivor. That was, like, perfectly booked, outside of the fact that really you shouldn't have had the first two women look like total goofs. But in the end, like, the action honestly wasn't that great. Like, it really wasn't. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. It was very long. It did drag at times, and it just, some of it was really sloppy, especially Naomi and Alicia Fox, so 2.5 stars, just, yeah. Then we had the third match on the show, Baron Corbin and The Miz, the US champ against the Intercontinental champion. I thought this was actually decent. Not like the best Baron Corbin match ever, really. Like, it really wasn't. I've seen the Kalisto match at TLC last year was better than this. He's had better matches on TV with guys like Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles, I think. But yeah, this was okay, but not pay-per-view quality, really. You know, Miz is one thing that I really hate about him, is that in every match he works over the leg. But in this match, it actually works because he's a bigger guy. He needs to work over the leg to cut Baron Corbin down to size. So that was cool. But it got a little stale really quickly. Baron Corbin hit a deep six out of nowhere. Miz eventually would lock in the figure four after really going to work on the leg of Baron Corbin, which Baron Corbin did sell decently, to be honest. And then Miz obviously got really, really cocky. He went for the yes kicks, which he got. He then went for a couple of missile drop kicks, but on the third one, Corbin came out of the corner and hit him with the end of days. 1, 2, 3. Baron Corbin beats The Miz, and that gets SmackDown their first point on the board. 2-1, though, at 2 Raw. The match was decent, 2 3/4 stars, but really not pay-per-view quality. Like it was better than I thought it'd be, but not pay-per-view quality. Jesus. What do we have next? The problem is that I haven't got the notes in front of me, so I'm genuinely just going off the top of my head. I have got it right so far, though. I do know that. Yeah, it was next up. It was the Usos against Sheamus and Cesaro. This was really good. I really enjoyed this tag. Like, just really, really good tag stuff. Like, the Usos are probably the best tag team on the main roster. They are really, really good. They're really, really sound. Sheamus and Cesaro play great heels to the Usos. It was your typical, like, tag team wrestling, but it was really, really good. It was really well structured. The shines, the heats were really, really well structured. There was some really, really cool spots as well. Sheamus and Cesaro hit their Sheamus has the guy in the white noise. Cesaro does, like, where he goes for the spinning uppercut, but, like, puts more pressure on the white noise. That was broken up by the other Uso. And then we had a really insane spot where Sheamus was on the top rope. Cesaro had one of the Usos in a powerbomb. That Uso grabbed Sheamus from the top, gave him a Samoan drop as Cesaro powerbombed him. That was insane. Then Cesaro got super kicked out of the ring. Sheamus was dead in the middle, essentially, and the Usos just killed him with super kick, super kick, super kick, super kick. They had a super kick party, which has got to have been trademarked by the Young Bucks. Like, they can't, WWE can't complain that other companies are using their stuff when they are literally using other companies' stuff. You can't do that, Vince. Vince is such a dickhead. But yeah, super kick, super kick, super kick, super fly splash from one of the Usos. 1, 2, 3. The Usos win 2-all. SmackDown get the 4th point of Survivor Series. I give this match 3.5 stars. It was a very good tag, and on this show, it stood out a lot more than a lot of the other matches. Then we had the Women's Champion versus Champion matchup, which was Charlotte against Alexa Bliss. This was, like, really forgettable. Like, this was honestly so forgettable. They botched the Code Red spot and then just did it again. Charlotte missed the moonsault to the ring, and Alexa worked over the ribs, so that's fine psychology that she'd missed the moonsault. There was a point where both women just hit their finishes. So Charlotte hit the natural selection. Alexa kicked out. Alexa hit the DDT. Charlotte kicked out. These women need to learn like ring space because they both like essentially jumped into the ropes when they did those moves. And then the match just Alexa went for the Twisted Bliss, and Charlotte moved, gave her a big boot, and locked in the figure eight for the win. So SmackDown 3-2 up. This was again decent, like 2 3/4 stars, but like just really boring at times. Like there's nothing I'm going to remember about this matchup tomorrow, or even now. Obviously, as I've just told you, all I can remember is the big spots. However, the next matchup is a matchup I am never going to forget. AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar. This was done exquisitely. This was perfect. Every minute of this worked. For the first 7-8 minutes, Brock just killed AJ. Like, just killed him with strikes, killed him with kicks, killed him with elbows, killed him with ground and pound. The Germans to AJ, like, AJ flew, like, all the way across the ring. Not even halfway across the ring, all the way across the ring. It was awesome to watch AJ Styles get pummeled by Brock Lesnar. But eventually, AJ Styles would do a comeback. And this was, like, the most anyone's ever had against Brock. Really since Goldberg. Like, Braun had a lot, but, like, AJ really here, he had... It's weird to say this, because I feel like I say this every time this guy gets more against Brock. But that's really how it should be. Like, the next guy should get more against Brock, against the next, until the finally one topples Brock. Now, AJ shouldn't have beaten Brock, not at all. But he got so much against Brock that he loses nothing, and I don't want to hear anyone say that AJ lost anything by losing to Brock here in this fashion. AJ got his comeback, he fought, he took out the left knee of Brock, and he DDT'd Brock, he DDT'd him again. They botched a couple of spots, so they botched the tornado DDT spot, and they botched where I think AJ was going to go for a Cabrada, or a springboard reverse DDT. They kind of botched that as well, because Brock didn't quite catch him. But outside of that, like, I can't really call this, like, the best match ever because of 2 botched spots, but matches can be great if there is a botched spot, and I mean that. I've seen botched spots in great matches. So, I mean, Bayley and Banks botched a couple of things. The reverse Hurricane Rana, they kind of botched, and then they botched something else. But, I mean, respect, she basically dropped Bayley on her head. But that's not important. This match was what was important at this minute. Styles, phenomenal forearm to Brock on the outside, phenomenal forearm off the stage steps. He threw him in, he gave him a lion salt, he gave him a 450 for a near fall. That was awesome. There was like 2 near falls all match. Styles was like, oh my god, what do I do? Brock picked him up for the F5. Styles got on the apron, gave him a forearm, gave him the phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, kick out by Brock. But then Styles got silly, and he got to the apron again. He went for a second phenomenal forearm. Brock just caught him out of midair, and that looked unbelievable. F5, 1, 2, 3. Brock wins. Raw go 3-3 going into the final match. This was an unbelievably great match. This was 1,000 times better than the Jinder Mahal match would have been. This saves this show from being average, to be honest. 4.5 stars. This match absolutely ruled. Kudos to these 2 guys. Not just AJ. Brock sold excellently. He sold the knee so well. He was walking out of the ring with still selling the knee. Like, genuinely, that's awesome. Well done to these 2 guys. 4.5 stars. This was an awesome match. This was actually probably better than anything at War Games because of its structure and how it was actually done was actually, like, exquisite. So kudos to these 2 guys. And then we had the main event. The 5-on-5 Team SmackDown Live versus Team Raw match. Okay. I thought this sucked, essentially. I thought that the action in this was really slow. But specifically, I thought it was booked really badly. So you had all your men come out, and I thought the beginning, like 10 minutes, was really, really good. I thought that having all these different pairings that we'd never seen before, like Orton and Joe, which was cool, and then Nakamura and Balor going back to their NXT and even their New Japan stuff, which actually got a New Japan chant, which was quite funny. And then you had, like, you had something like Bobby Roode and Triple H both do spine busters and both go for their finishes, and that was cool. And then Triple H got injured, which I think hampered the match a little bit. I think he injured himself when he did the face buster to Nakamura on his knee, because he did fall over. I imagine it's probably his quad. It's always Triple H's quad. I also want to say Triple H came out last for his team because he's the biggest star in his team and he needs to be made in 2017. Oh, you ego maniacal piece of shit. So first eliminated was Nakamura. He was eliminated by Strowman, and then a minute later, essentially, Rude was eliminated. And I saw these two eliminations, and it really pissed me off because these two guys looked like absolute jobbers. Like, genuinely, they didn't look particularly good. Strowman swatted them like flies, and I get that he's Braun Strowman, and I get you have to give him a lot, but I feel like you could have distributed all of the emphasis that was on Braun Strowman on the whole team. Because these two guys weren't the only ones that looked bad. Then you had Cena eliminate Joe, and he just, like, essentially eliminated him. So Team Raw couldn't work together, and they all started pushing each other and tagging themselves in, and it was Joe and Balor doing it, and Cena got in, he AA'd Joe, he AA'd Balor, and then he AA'd Joe again, and that meant that Joe was gone. Joe was gone first, that was kind of weird, but Joe looked absolutely rubbish, to be honest. Then I believe it was actually Cena eliminated. Yes, it was. Then it was John Cena eliminated. You had 3 members of SmackDown, Orton, Cena, and Shane against Balor, Strowman, Angle, and Hunter, and Cena was the next one eliminated. You brought John Cena back for this specific match, and he just did nothing. He eliminated one guy, and he did absolutely nothing. He was eliminated by 2 angle slams and a coup de grace, which is fine, but, like, just booking. Balor was next eliminated by this time, by the way, they'd actually taken Braun Strowman out with a suplex, a 5-man suplex through an announce table. Balor was next eliminated. He went for a coup de grace on Randy Orton, but Randy Orton hit an RKO. Now, I always like that Randy Orton survives in Survivor Series matches because it does keep up his streak of being really, really good in Survivor Series matches. Orton eliminated Balor, but then when he got up, Strowman was back on the apron, he tagged himself in, and Strowman killed Randy Orton with a running power slam, meaning that the last member of Team SmackDown Live was Shane McMahon. And Shane McMahon had been attacked by this point by Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and he'd actually run them both off by himself because we have to put Shane McMahon over. In fact, the final 4 men in this matchup were Shane McMahon, Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Braun Strowman. Let's just put over the young guard, you know? Genuinely. Really pissed me off. So Shane McMahon is in the ring and he's fighting Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle hits him with an Olympic slam. He locks him in the ankle lock for about 2 minutes. Shane McMahon doesn't tap, kind of like how HBK Shawn Michaels didn't tap at WrestleMania 21 until he eventually did. Shane didn't tap for like 2 long minutes. And then Triple H just gets in and he pedigrees Kurt Angle and he puts Shane McMahon on top. And everyone was like, what? What's going on? But the problem here with this bit was that nobody believed that Triple H was genuinely turning on his team. So Triple H was helping Shane McMahon up. Kurt Angle had been eliminated. He was helping Shane McMahon up, and he pedigreed him, and he pinned him. Triple H gets the final pinfall in the main event of the Survivor Series 2017. So the surviving members are Triple H and Braun Strowman. After the matchup, Triple H is like to Braun, that was my plan all along. Braun was like, don't you ever try and double cross me again. He went to pedigree Braun. Braun gave him a running power slam and then gave him a second running power slam. Oh my god, what was this? This match was honestly, I just didn't like it. It was booked really poorly because the whole SmackDown brand, the whole brand looked shit. Genuinely looked really, really bad. None of them look good. Cena doesn't look good. Orton doesn't look good. Shane looks good, but he's the commissioner. He doesn't need to look good. He should be the first one out. Nakamura, Rude look like total jobbers. And look, I get that the Team Raw was like, it was a lot bigger, like, because you had Hunter. But Hunter's no John Cena. John Cena's on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Hunter is no John Cena. And it really pissed me off how much they put over Hunter. And it really stuck out to me how egomaniacal this company can be by having Triple H and Shane as the last 4. That really, really annoyed me. The match, I'll give 2 3/4 stars because the action was okay, especially at the beginning, but the middle part, they were just eliminating people weirdly, and the ending sucked. The ending was just bad. Like, nobody in the building got it. The crowd were dead for for most of this match. 2.75 stars. You end Survivor Series on a really down note. So in review, how good generally was Survivor Series? Well, I thought the opener was really, really good. I thought the tag match with the Usos and The Bar was pretty good. And Styles and Lesnar was awesome. But all I'm going to remember from this show was that main event. And that's why I can't give the show any more than a 6 out of 10. Was this better than War Games? Fucking nowhere near as good as War Games. It couldn't touch War Games. It couldn't lace War Games' boots. Yes, there was a match in the show which was pretty much better than anything at War Games, mainly because it was structured better. From an athletic standpoint, it wasn't as good as the Velveteen Dream match, or from a story standpoint, certainly wasn't. And it wasn't as good as the Andrade Almas match. But in terms of like overall structuring a match perfectly, yeah. But everything else in the show, like the women's matches were really both boring. Corbin's match was, it was okay, but like a pay-per-view quality, not really. Yeah, the opener with the New Day and the Shield was really good, but I'm just going to remember that main event and how it buried a whole brand to get over Braun Strowman and Triple H. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolve Rosslot. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think to Survivor Series 2017? Did you like it more than me? What was your favourite match? I imagine it was Styles Lesnar. If it wasn't, what show did you watch? And what did you think to the main event? Do you hate it? I didn't hate it. It was just booked horrendously. But I guess, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver Rosslot.